This is a story of nerddom creating family. I fell in love with comics at a really young age. I would always talk about them to friends at work. Silvia kind of was one of the people that kind of just snuck in there.
It was when we first started dating that he started telling me about comic books. I read Punisher, and that kind of got me a little bit hooked. When Mario was born, that's when we started going to Comic-Con. And I was like, oh, look at all these people in their outfits. It's not Halloween. This is so strange.
I remember buying a store-bought costume for Mario. And Silvia was looking at the seams and how it was done. She's like, this is cheap, I can do this. The following year, I'm like, hey, remember how you said you can make the costume? And she's like, yeah, well, how about you make Mario a costume?
Usually, I'm a little bit reluctant to try new things.
She's like, well, I don't have a pattern, I don't have this, I don't have that.
And he'd be like, you can do this, come on, let's try it out.
I always kind of push Silvia to try something different.
So I thought, well, let's give this a shot. I got me a little cheap sewing machine and bought some patterns and tried it out.
Lo and behold, Mario's first homemade costume.
We never bought another costume. We've always made them. So when we're planning out a costume, I typically do like the shirts, the pants, I do all the sewing, except for gloves. I hate gloves.
She hates gloves.
And then he does all the hardware, so all like the EVA foam pieces that attach to the costume. If they have little weapons or whatever that go with the costume, he's the one who makes them.
We've gone from buying like a store-bought prop to using EVA foam to buying a 3D printer to create a helmet or things like that.
It's something kind of unique to us. And I think that kind of makes us stronger because we have something in common that we all enjoy.
Going to conventions with kids is completely different. You know, we'd be able to walk the floor fairly easily. And then Thor happened.
We went to the Marvel booth and they had this little throne and he was up there with this little hammer.
And we were not able to walk maybe 10 feet without people hounding Mario for a picture.
The costume contest is amazing, and the fact that the family is all involved and they did it as a team is great. Is it comfortable to wear it?
Yeah, I'll try.
Alma got to participate this year and she actually did pretty good.
I was like, come hit your mark, and she sat on her mark. I was like, this kid is ready for cosplay.
What we're doing at the end of the day is not just for us, but it's also for our kids. Finding somebody who's able to understand that, I somehow got lucky.
Well, Ben means a lot to me. He's someone that's always been my constant cheerleader. The person that always tells me when I think something is really hard. He's definitely someone that is incredibly supportive of everything that I do.
To find somebody who wasn't into comics, who somehow fell in love with them, somehow is with me, and is willing to sit there and put up with these madness, not just for me, but also for our kids. I don't know how that happened, but I'm kind of glad it happened. And I'm sure the kids are really glad it happened.
My mother is a wizard at figuring out what type of stitches to do with different fabrics, what kind of thread to use with different fabrics. I mean, to me, thread was thread.